Greetings, Earthlings, and welcome to your weekly dose of newsy infotainment. It's Let's Be Treasonable, coming to you from the luxurious studios of Radio Titans in Los Angeles, with your cognitive dissidents on the panel this week. Comedian, mom, and strong woman extraordinaire. She's got a comedy special, I'm Crowning, which is going to be on Amazon in September. Pleasure to have her back on the show, ladies and gentlemen. Liz Stewart.
Hello. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Stoked. Always a pleasure. And speaking of always, as always, we are joined by comedian, scholar, and the black voice of reason, Mr. Tymon Shipp.
Power to the people. We are glad to be here again on this fine Saturday. Welcome, Liz. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
And I'm Dr. David Robinson. I realized last week when I'm like, half of these episodes I forget to introduce myself. So I apologize for being so presumptuous, but appreciate you knowing that I am Dr. David Robinson, your Vin Scully for the impending apocalypse. And as we are most weeks, we are joined by our invisible sixth man, our extra panelist, five-time Emmy nominee, Mr. Will Durst, with this week's Burst of Durst.
Hey guys, Will Durst here with a most sincere attempt to make amends for my tiresome history of making cheap shots at the expense of our 45th president. So today I am taking the high road with an in-depth analysis of one of the most critical problems facing the country today, his hair. All of the woes of the world can be reflected in Donald Trump's unique aerodynamic coif. It's a microcosm. The very key to the man is his golden canopy. Look at it. No, really, give it a gander. Everything about it is wrong. The color, the texture, the shape, the intended result, the finished product. Not to mention his unshakable belief that it looks good. America has questions, and our commander-in-chief needs to answer them. What is it really on his head? A wig? A weave? Implants? Extensions? A carpet sample? Or part of the pelt of a marsupial? Does he carry around the antidote in case that thing stings somebody? Does he wash it or sing it to sleep? It's not so much the hair as the brain underneath that thinks the hair is cool. And even using modern technology, exactly how much time a day does it take to recreate his groovy haircut from the 70s with drastically fewer resources? Got to be at least a half hour. That means 3.5 hours a week. And he's been president for 70 weeks, which works out to be 245 hours, a little over 10 entire days. Think of the things that might have been accomplished with an extra 10 days. He could have played another 40 rounds of golf, fired a dozen more communications directors, maligned another 6 or 7 branches of the judiciary. And barbers around the country want to know, how does he achieve that frontal swoop? Hairspray? Stitches? Scaffolding? Stainless steel rivets? Glue? That would explain a lot. Sniffing glue for that long. Yeah, it does explain a lot. For Let's Be Treasonable, I'm Will Durst.
Thank you very much, Will. A lot of people don't know this about me, because why would you? But I worked at Home for the Elderly for a while when I lived in Israel. And there's, you spend time when you're not busy gardening and doing your job, you're hanging and talking to the old people because they've got stories. They're fascinating. But there's something that it makes me think of my time spent with the elderly when I see Trump's hair and sort of, like behind the ear, there's like a small section that just sort of looks like greasily shellacked. Mm-hmm. And it's out of place. It's like every bad detective movie where like look at it's a horribly decrepit old wood floor, but there's a new panel. Let's look underneath and but his hair is what it is. It is disturbing. But I think the bigger point there, and well made, Mr. Durst, is, if you think this is cool, how wrong are you on everything else?
Very.
Yeah, it tends to be
wrong.
indicative
Yeah, there's a reason why he has to pay women to have sex with him.
Ho, 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 ho.
Nobody would want that.
It's
Well, it seems like he's the part of the rest of these old guys, showing up with the robes and whatnot,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But I seen Stormy come on. Stormy's just got a rack on her.
Oh, yeah.
well, yeah. that's-
Holy moly! I didn't know this chick looked like this. I was like, oh my god! She came on what is it? One of the late night shows.
She came on everybody.
Uh,
I
Yeah.
think that was one of her first features.
yeah. I let that one go. 'Cause
Yeah. she's a
It's a squirting
beautiful,
film.
she's a beautiful, beautiful woman, and he
with
said,
the best rack money can buy.
amen to that, man. And he was like, hey, you have sex with me, I'll get you on The Apprentice.
Whoa!
And then he didn't. And then,
Yeah, unfortunately, what she didn't know is that the apprentice is what he calls little Donald.
oh, it's so small. It's adorable.
Well, we're talking about his lack of brain and sound decision making skills, which really came to the forefront this week as the summit with North Korea collapsed. Quelle surprise! How surprising that the deal maker could not even get a meeting to stand. So we're back to Little Rocket Man, and my button's bigger, and
I'm probably going to be called crazy for this, but I firmly believe that Vladimir Putin is orchestrating this whole distraction with North Korea to detract from the fact that he gave the presidency to like a traitor. I really do think that, because Putin and Russia and North Korea both have sanctions against them. They both want them lifted. So Putin is like, hey, you play ball with me, I'll put my guy in. We can get all the sanctions lifted. So have you ever noticed that every time that the Russia investigation heats up to the point to where it's like you feel like it's going to be the breaking point, that there's an issue with North Korea? And then they start name calling each other. And he's like, oh, I'm going to get the Nobel Peace Prize. Oh, we're going to have this sanction. Oh, I'm going to do this. And then in the press, they just eat it up, because, Putin is a very, very smart guy. I think he's orchestrating this whole fucking thing.
I wouldn't be surprised. Although, and maybe I've seen the movie Murder by Death too many times, but I was trying to figure out what the end game is. And all I could picture was like a slow dolly camera movement down a long hallway, and obviously stayed corporate old money kind of environment, and the camera is moving down the hall, and you see Eric Trump sitting at a desk. And as the camera gets close enough to his face that you totally recognize, he cracks a smile and just starts laughing, like a little bit at first, like. And, no, it's someone is the mastermind behind this all.
They're breaking the world up into spheres. Trump can have the Western sphere. Europe and Russia will obviously go to Putin, and then the China, that whole side of the world will go to North Korea. And I tell you, we aren't going to be helping South Korea as much as we have been in the past, and that's exactly what Putin and Kim Jong-un want.
Well, America first.
Right.
Which on a related note, because one of the other reasons this whole thing fell apart, was China interfering and basically, whispering in Kim Jong Un's like, you don't really want to do it, come on, because they need a piece of the action to maintain their supremacy in the region.
Mm-hmm.
So we've got this fantastic deal being done with ZTE, the Chinese phone company that the American intelligence agencies
I think
determined, no, these phones spy on you. And ZTE broke sanctions, did business with Iran and I think Crimea. They're basically doing all the shit that a strong president would say don't do that. But instead, Trump announced I guess last week,
Yeah.
that hey, we're going to bail these guys out. We're going to help them. We're going to make ZTE great again.
Chinese people need jobs. That's what he said. Chinese people need jobs. They have prostituted this whole patriot thing they talk about, being patriotic. They have prostituted this country off bit by bit. You can just see where the importance is. I don't care what politician they have. All the lobbyists. We have thousands of lobbyists in Washington right now. So I don't buy into. He can cut all the deals he wants with Kim Jong-un. The American worker is the American people are the ones that are going to get screwed, because whoever the businessmen are, they're
looking out for themselves. So
right. They're taking care of them. I mean, when you have 4 people who have more money than 200 million people, 4 people, just 4 guys, they could have solved the poverty problem of our society within days.
So what you're saying is we should be investing in pitchforks and torches.
Well, you might as well. I don't even mind a person. I don't mind you being rich, okay? But you got all these charities and all this stuff, and they're raising millions of dollars. But you found out like Haiti had only 6 houses built, and all the money that went through Haiti. Where's that money going? Who's behind all this stuff? Why does if we got all these charities, you pay the head of these charities millions of dollars? Why is it that we have 50,000 people with no place to go, but we're doing business? We keep telling you we have the strongest economy. California alone, of the 5. We have. They say America has the strongest. We are top 5, or one of the biggest of the 5.
I think. We used to be 6. I think we just passed the UK.
Yeah.
How's that Brexit working out for you?
Yeah. So here it is. A state has more money, has a better economy, a bigger economy than a country. That's how well we are doing. But yet you have a huge homeless problem that you can't fix. Yeah, you say, oh, well, we're bringing more jobs in, but who are the jobs for? You go work for Amazon, you're going to those people are earning that $12.50 an hour.
Yeah, man.
They're working a shit out of them. I mean, Bezos, he's at $1 trillion. He's at $100 billion. He said, I don't know what to do with my money.
I can show you.
Yeah.
They don't
shouldn't
want
be that hard.
Projects.
They don't want to fix the homeless problem because it's easier. It's easier if you don't, because if you view people as being disposable, and the people like when you see a homeless person come up to you, you're like, oh, what's wrong with them? Some part of your psyche, is like, oh, are they going to be dangerous, right? Yeah. And that's because society's trained us to think of like, oh, either they're lazy or they're crazy, and if they're crazy. And crazy is a horrible term, but a lot of homeless people do have some mental issues like PTSD from soldiers. We're supposed to honor our military, but we don't take care of them after they get back. Yeah. We got what we wanted. Right. We suck your soul out and we throw the husk away. Yeah.
I don't believe that. To me, when I see them, I keep saying that people can't keep up.
Yeah.
Because the system keeps changing. Everything is changing. You have to learn how to live today in our state. People say, hey, man, I'm moving out of California. Well, they charge you for everything but the sun. I mean, hell, if you want a view of something, it'll cost you. If you want to go somewhere, it will cost. Gas is that, what would they say gas is that? Is that
$65 to fill up our tank yesterday.
Wow.
Look at that.
$65.
Why is it $65? Oh, well, we got a new brand, and this brand is different, and it's holiday time and everything. No, dude, you're raking the consumer, this so-called thing that you call us today, a consumer,
right?
Which you made us that way. You're sucking the life out of them.
Mm-hmm.
You're really and Trump's cutting deals.
Well, I think a lot of different businesses are realizing